when you're anchoring, people will still think that somehow the job is that you come in and you put on makeup all day and then you get up there and read scripts. Well, I hate to disappoint you, but that's not the job.
You probably, in all probability, are not going to get a job after your first interview. But if you keep at it, you will.
Misspellings and typos drive us nuts. If you aren't willing to take the time to pore over that resume and make sure that it's just perfect, I might not be convinced that you would be willing to take the time to be real perfect in the job that you're coming to apply for.
I think as you go into the television news business or into broadcast journalism, I think it will be a different business for many of you. It's already a different business now than when I began 8 years ago and had my first job out of college. And one thing that is true, I have a manager who says that years ago she used to advise students, figure out what you want to do and learn how to do that one thing really well. And now that advice just doesn't hold anymore. Now students have to learn to do it all. And let me give you a very specific example of that. When I was right out of college, my whole goal was to get into a market big enough where I could stop lugging around my camera equipment. And I thought that you'd think that right now that maybe I'd finally gotten there and I had it made. But this summer I went to Tanzania, and I carried around a camera and microphones with me for 3 weeks and shot a series of 5 stories that will air in December.
The advice to you would be, again, to make yourself a hybrid, become 2 positions in one. That's kind of what I did, and now I'm doing it, is web development and graphic design. So not only can I sell it, I can make it.
I am starting to try to teach people whose reflexes have always been like, tomorrow morning is my deadline. I'm trying to get them to recognize that they're missing the boat and their readers are going to be tuning us out if they've seen that story already and there's nothing new that we're going to be offering. We need to offer this, the crux of the story now, and tomorrow will be the analytical piece that'll be, that'll offer them the, deeper understanding. I think my current boss has a slogan that I always mangle, but it's helped me a lot, and it's helped me win some arguments in the newsroom. And I think he says something like, online is what and now, and tomorrow is why and how.
You're going to need to realize that you can't be good at everything. Again, I'm a jack of all trades. I can do a lot of different things, but I'm not the best at all of those. And you folks will need to realize that yourself. At some point realize, you know what, I really like this, but I'm never going to be really good with it. And be okay with that and move on into that other direction. Allow yourself those other opportunities where perhaps you do recognize that you have not only an interest, but perhaps a greater expertise at it early on in your career.
Nothing is black and white, especially in the communications field. I think that there's sort of a frustrating gray that hangs over most situations. And so the best people and the most successful people are those that are able to, in a world of gray, simplify messages, simplify communications, and get a way for people to see things in a more clear manner than they would otherwise.
As technology changes, it changes what our business is. When I started, I could have much of a focus on just writing my scripts for television, but shortly after that, and especially now, we write scripts for television. We write scripts not just for one show, not just for our 10 p.m. show, but very often we've got a newscast at 4, 5, and 6, at 9, and at 10. And then we'll write scripts for the website as well, and leave a script for your morning show. So there's a lot that we're asked to do in our time, and technology enables us to do more in the same amount of time. But it means that our job definitions are changing, so I can't exactly, I don't know that if I told you this is the path you have to be on to become an anchor or to become a reporter, I don't know that that would hold true.
We really have to find a way to reach the audience, the subscribers who are vanishing as the shakeout is happening. We're losing daily subscribers. We're winning tremendous new eyes online. We haven't figured out how to monetize those eyes yet. The website is, all the information is free for you. It's the story that you could pay for in today's paper is going to be live online for 10 years. Why would you bother spending money? Well, our advertisers want to know the answer to that, and we want to be able to deliver to them just the growth rates and the information about those specific readers and who's reading their ads.
As much as you'll hear from other people, as you do more research, as you get internships, as much as you hear about, oh, the industry's changing, it's not going to be the same, and the money's going away, there will be jobs somewhere. But that's another reason that so many people encourage flexibility, because what you think you might be doing for a job will be changing.
I feel like the industry right now that I am in is a really kind of scary one, and for somebody who is as security-minded as I am, there have been some difficult times the last year. I work in a print newsroom that's a very large newsroom compared to Channel 9, where I came from previously. But we went from 290 people in the newsroom just over a year ago to about 230 after 2 rounds of buyouts and 1 round of layoffs. Since that time, we've lost another 10 people or so who just felt like, you know, the industry's in trouble. They wanted to move into PR or into education or someplace where they felt like they could really continue to count on a paycheck long term. I can't say exactly what's happening with this shakeout, but I will tell you we are about to start rebuilding this industry from within, and you people who may see a dim job market, especially on the print side right now, actually may have a greater opportunity to take over as part of our new workforce with higher levels of responsibility sooner.
One good piece of advice I got from a consultant coming up in my career was be careful about your timeline, and especially if your goal is to get to a home market, if your goal is to get back here to Denver or to whatever market is your home, try to make sure that you're really ready to be there when you get there, because if you get there and you royally mess up, you might not get a second chance to come back.
Another thing I think that you need to understand about this business, and whether it's local television, whether it's the business that we happen to be in, long-form programming, it's simply not a 9-to-5 job. I think Bazi mentioned that. Obviously, you saw her going off to some other responsibility on a Saturday. But you're going to find yourself working in our business in long-form programming 12 and 14-hour days. That's not every day, okay? But when you're on the road and you're shooting a story, the story doesn't necessarily end at 5 o'clock. The story's going to go perhaps till 8 o'clock. Maybe you've got to do a couple of interviews that you need to pick up. You weren't able to get them during the day. You're going to have to ask your cameraman to relight a room, get a few more shots. You might find yourself, you know, working to 8 or 9 o'clock that night, and then you might find yourself driving for an hour and a half to get to the next story.
I still think what we are trying to do is produce, you know, newsrooms that are multi-platform, multilingual, and people in your shoes are in the best positions to start to recognize those roles. As Bazi was saying, it's not just focusing on the one thing you want to do and doing it better than anyone. It's recognizing when you need to be more versatile and recognizing the value you can offer an employer by your attitude, your aptitude, and your hard work and willingness to do what's necessary to get, you know, their immediate coverage problems solved.